Today's breakdown of the massive Jamal Adams contract extension is made possible by Magic Spoon. Get $5 off your first order at magicspoon.com/Seahawks. Tell you more about them later on. It's healthy and delicious cereal. But first, the news, right? Jamal Adams. The deal is finally done for the Seattle Seahawks. The two sides have agreed to a massive contract extension. The details here. A 4-year deal, which will, of course, include the 1 year left on his contract, not factored in, so 5 total. We'll focus on the extension side. 4 years, $70 million with $38 million guaranteed. Now, there's also news that the deal is worth up to $72 million with some incentives. That was labeled as both individual and team performance-based. I'm guessing those are unlikely to be earned, so they won't factor in on the cap immediately unless he ends up hitting those, which will come in the next year, which would, by the way, bring it up to $18 million per year total, the exact same amount that Bobby Wagner makes as the current highest-paid defender on the Seattle Seahawks. So are you guys happy that this deal is finally done? Get your votes in for me in the comment section by liking the video if you are. This deal kind of had to get done. It was dragging on a bit longer than I think both sides wanted it to. So if you are just happy that the deal is done, do me a favor and like this video right now. Now, Adams, as we all knew was going to end up happening, does become the highest paid safety in the NFL. He checks in at $17.5 million per year. That is substantially more relative to the other safety contracts than what Justin Simmons makes. Adams is making $2.25 million more than what Simmons got, a deal that Simmons signed earlier this offseason that made him the highest paid safety in the NFL. That's over Budda Baker, over Eddie Jackson, Kevin Byard, and even Tyrann Mathieu and others who are all below that $14 million or less price tag. We knew Adams was going to become the highest paid safety in the NFL. It was a matter of how much more did Adams end up becoming, and the answer is by a couple million and some change. Although, as we'll get into more in depth, doesn't necessarily mean that Adams will remain the highest paid safety for that long. Stick around for that part. Now, I do want to mention the guaranteed money. Now, the report, when this news first broke, was $38 million guaranteed. And the numbers you see on screen here are what we call practical guaranteed money. Not necessarily a signing bonus or even a guaranteed roster bonus, but practical money that the player's going to get with the way the deal is structured. So Adams did beat Justin Simmons. It is noteworthy that, at least based, assuming the $38 million is the practical guaranteed money for Adams, that he is behind Landon Collins at $44.5 million. Now, Collins' deal was a 6-year contract. It was substantially longer than Jamal Adams. That's why there was so much guaranteed money. I don't know if the Collins deal was really utilized as much of a benchmark for Adams, although I'm sure he asked for that amount of practical guaranteed money. He comes in behind a lot of the other key defensive players at that number, but he does beat Justin Simmons' deal across the board as it relates to being the highest paid safety in the NFL. So although we don't know the exact structure when the out will be, maybe it's 3 years from now, including this year, somewhere in that time frame, I want you guys to grade the Adams extension for me. A, B, C, D, or F. Get your votes in for me right now in the comments section. Look, the grade is maybe a little bit lower because of just how much it was. If it had come in more along the lines of 15.5, maybe it'd be viewed a bit more favorably. And even though there's a negative connotation out there around Adams, what other options did Seattle have? They had to get this deal done. They gave up 2 first-round picks, a low-end, but a starting caliber safety in Bradley McDougald. It's not like Seattle wasn't going to pay Jamal Adams, and the reports are, at least from various NFL media out people, that Adams took the Seahawks deal. Maybe that makes it feel a little bit better as it relates to Adams and Seattle's contract. There was really no other path than this one for Seattle, though. They had to get this deal done. And they do with some time to spare between the preseason and the regular season. And my suspicion, and it is just a suspicion, obviously Adams has been held out of training camp and the preseason because he's a bit banged up, and that's all fair and true, and I get that. I bet he returns pretty soon now that he's back as a member of the Seahawks and under contract for the next couple years. Adams' blitzing ability, his run support in only 12 games last year is a big reason why he's getting paid so much. And that's understandable if you're Seattle. Now, make no mistake, the team wants and needs Adams to be more impactful in coverage. They need him to be a little bit better, and I am willing to blame some of that on the litany of injuries that Adams played through last year. But you need to be able to do one of two things in the modern NFL if you are a box player, which is what Jamal Adams is. He's a strong safety, a linebacker, whatever you want to call him. He's a box player, and he plays that role very well. You have to either be able to hold up in coverage really well or offer value in the pass rush. You cannot be a liability on third downs. After 9.5 sacks in 12 games last year, I don't really think we can consider Adams a liability on third downs. So because of that, it's understandable why Seattle had to pay him so much. Adams had more leverage than Seattle did because of what Seattle gave up to get him. There was a bit of a middle ground that I guess was reached if you believe the reports that Adams took Seattle's deal. That's a good thing. In the end, Adams is still a winner. He's the highest paid safety by a significant margin. In the end, that's a good deal for Adams. Maybe not so much for Seattle, but as we'll get into more in depth in a second, he might not remain the highest paid safety for that much longer. Before that, though, folks, today's show is presented by Magic Spoon. Get $5 off your first order of healthy and delicious cereal when you head over to magicspoon.com/Seahawks. A clickable link, by the way, will be in the comments section and in the description for you guys. It is zero sugar, low in carbs, high in protein, and it tastes just like the delicious stuff we grew up with. But unlike that cereal, which maybe gave you some cavities as a kid, this does not have sugar, but it tastes the same. It tastes too good to be true, and yet it is. magicspoon.com/Seahawks. Go get a box or maybe 5 and save $5 off on your first order, by the way. They've brought back some new flavors like the cookies and cream, for example. Go get $5 off your first order, magicspoon.com/Seahawks. Now, I wanted to mention this part. The reason why Adams wanted more than just safety money was he wanted to be paid as more than just a safety. He wanted to be viewed as a high-paid non-safety. And these are the highest-paid non-defense linemen. So, i.e., not Aaron Donald, not the Bosas, not Myles Garrett, non-pure pass rushers. So that's corners, linebackers, and, yes, safeties. Jalen Ramsey, Marlon Humphrey, two highest paid, 20 and 19.5 respectively. Fred Warner, $19.05 million, big-time contract there. Bobby Wagner, Jamal Adams. Adams checks in just behind Bobby Wagner, by the way, at $17.5 million. That's behind Bobby Wagner. But it does make Jamal Adams, if, again, we're excluding the edge rushers in the end and the defensive tackles in the end, one of the top 5 highest paid defensive weapons, I guess we'll call it from that perspective. That's what Adams is and what I think he will continue to be for Seattle. As long as he's healthy, he's a young player. He's got plenty of time left in his NFL career. This is your second Seahawks video of the day, by the way, folks. So if you haven't already, hit that big red button and subscribe. We went through the roster cuts that went down late last night and mentioned it this morning for you guys. So check out that video. It's on the channel right now, and it's also in the description in the comments section too. Put the link in there for you. And of course, all the other videos we do for you guys here at Seattle Seahawks Today. So if you haven't already, do us a favor. Hit that big red button and subscribe. If you're watching somewhere other than YouTube, look, the link is right there. It's youtube.com/SeahawksTV. Get all the latest news and rumors on your favorite team by subscribing today. All right, I've teased it enough, right? Adams is now the highest paid safety in the NFL. I don't know if that's going to remain the case forever. And I know it's not. It's a matter of really when, not if. Now, Simmons has just got paid, so he's going to stay there. But there are several very talented safeties who are due for new contracts in the very near future. Marcus May, Marcus Williams, both on the franchise tag. they're going to hit the open market. Do they get Adams money? I don't think so, but the salary cap's going to explode. So if Derwin James stays healthy for a season, the Chargers, they might give him more than Jamal Adams. Minkah Fitzpatrick, I would be very surprised if he does not surpass Jamal Adams. That's the Steelers safety. Bengals safety Jesse Bates, probably in that exact same area. He's going to get 17, 18 million or so. That's going to be a massive deal for him. Tyrann Mathieu is an older player, but he's due for a new deal as well. So with the way the market is, once you get paid, it's only a matter of time before somebody else steps up and makes you a higher paid player at the position. So Adams is expensive for now. Check it in like 2 years. He may not even be in the top 5 at that point. Now, of course, Adams is not the only guy searching for a new extension right now. I did want to mention Duane Brown here because I think it's pretty clear he is holding in, much like Jamal Adams was, not participating at really training camp, at the preseason. Not that he was going to do anything preseason anyway. But at age 35, Brown knows this is near the end of his career. He wants a new deal. And historically speaking, Seattle often went in order of seniority. Older guys got paid first. And they did it with Tyler Lockett and Jamal Adams. But Duane Brown's pretty old. He hasn't gotten paid yet. So I wonder what will happen now with Brown as it relates to Seattle. Will he get a new deal? Or will Seattle say, you know what? No, we're going to make you wait. That's up in the air still. So get your votes in. Should Seattle pay Duane Brown right now? Why for yes or and for no? The other player who I think is noteworthy in this discussion, we won't spend too much time here, is Quandre Diggs, because he's a safety on the last year of his deal as well. So what will Seattle end up doing? Will they find a way to pay Diggs on top of this? If they pay Adams and Diggs, even if Adams goes for like maybe $10 million, which I think is reasonable, but kind of on the low end, you're committing, $28.5 million per year to safeties. Maybe you end up committing even more than that. That's a lot of money to pay both safeties. So keep an eye on Diggs and what the future holds for him. But the Seahawks have committed to Jamal Adams, and that's really no surprise. It was a matter of when, not if. A 4-year, $70 million deal for Adams. $38 million is guaranteed, and it's worth up to $72 million with incentives.